66-year-old pastor and community activist Thomas Dixon is a product of the Chicago housing projects. He and his wife, Vanessa, and their family have made South Carolina their home since 1985. In 2005, he founded Somerville Christian Fellowship, which he pastored until 2012, when the call of social justice took him out of the pulpit and into the streets. Pastor Dixon is most notably recognized for his peacekeeping efforts in North Charleston and Charleston, South Carolina, in the aftermath of the Walter Scott shooting and the Mother Emanuel tragedy. Over the years, Dixon has worked with a variety of social justice organizations, including the South Carolina Crime Reduction Coalition, South Carolina Progressive Network, the Fight for 15, the Quality Education Project, the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence, Moms Demand Action, Arm in Arm, and his own organization, the Coalition, People United to Take Back Our Community. In 2017, he was re-elected chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Charleston Alliance for Fair Employment for the third time, where he continues to be a strong advocate for workers' rights. In November of 2017, he was elected to the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence Board of Directors, and in March of 2018, the National Bar Association awarded him the Wiley A. Branton Issues Symposium Award for his work to end gun violence. His most recent accolade came when he became one of 9 recipients of the Angels in Our Community 2018 Spotlight Award. In 2016, Pastor Dixon ran for U.S. Senate and is currently running to become the next mayor of the city of North Charleston, South Carolina. Coming from those humble beginnings in the projects of Chicago, it's obvious that Thomas Dixon has never let his surroundings define who he is and what he can or cannot achieve. He has dared to dream and has worked diligently to make those dreams a reality for himself, for his family, and for his community. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Thomas Dixon.
Brother Dameion, thank you. And thank you all for having me today. I didn't know I was going to be first on the docket, but that's all right. And no matter which way it goes, the subject matter that we're addressing today is extremely important, especially in the political, social, and economic climate that we live in today. We're here because of a visionary. I called him in the prayer a prophet, someone whose scope and whose vision for America far exceeded the day and age that he lived in, his very short life that he lived, and the vision that we've lost along the way. My area to speak on today is about the church and social justice. I think I'm supposed to be sticking there. Is that right, Davis? Okay, all right. I just want to make sure, because it's really a very touchy subject. I pray that in the course of my speaking today that no one is offended by anything that I say. If we got some church folks in the house, get over it. I'm here to tell the truth and to be honest about it. 51 years after the death of Dr. King, we stand in a different area, a different realm, a different world than the civil rights world that he became prominent in, through a message of nonviolence, a message of peace, a message of love, a message that continues to be the underpinning of everything that we need to do right now. It still remains the same. But if you look at what happened while Dr. King was alive, when we talk about social justice and we look at what's going on today, it seems like two different worlds. What happened? Where is the radical move for social justice that we saw afoot in America 50 years ago? What happened to it? It's not even a slow crawl today. There are pockets of radical moves for social justice today. But this was a movement 50 years ago. We don't have a movement today. And why? I think a lot of it has to do, especially in the black community, with the position of the church. The difference between the church then and the church now. And even though it's got the same name, ain't got the same spirit. The church then was being about what the church was supposed to be about. What's up, young brothers in the back? All power to the people. Straight up. Anybody, Ray Pookie, y'all back there? I want y'all to know that, I ain't always been no pastor, I ain't always been saved, all right?
That's right.
I've been up that road, I got a South Carolina Department of Corrections number. I've been out on that block doing my thing or whatever, Not to say any of y'all like that, but I just want y'all to know, I just want to put it out there. The church then, when Dr. King was alive, was a nurturing church that fostered and preached on and welcomed radical change, promoted it even. Civil rights leaders would travel from church to church, community to community, and they were not only welcomed in and given the podium, but the pastors were also standing in support of what they were talking about. They would pass the hat, and the hat would not just go into the coffers of the church, but would go to support the civil rights movement. Because men and women of God then understood that it's our obligation to be our brothers and sisters' keepers. And when one hurts, all hurt. They understood that. Somewhere along the way, our pastors then got lost. And the collection plate is a one-way plate. The only ones eating is the pastors. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
It's Pastor Dixon. I said it. And I think there has to be more of a conversation on that level so that we don't run people away, especially our youth who are looking for direction.
That's right.
And we tell them to go to church, and all this church filled with hypocrites.
That's right.
Yeah, I said that again too.
Speak the truth. Say it out loud.
But as Dr. King wrote that last book saying, where do we go from here? Until we address the issues that I'm talking about this newfangled church, we are where we're going. And we're as far as we're going to get. Because the church, it's time for the church to step up and get back to the old standards, biblical standards. A lot of people ask me about my email address, my standard email address, which is my initials, TAD, but it's the number 3189@gmail.com. 3189. Stands for Proverbs 31, verses 8 and 9. That's a mandate to believers from God, if you believe in the scripture. The mandate is open your mouth for the speechless in the cause of all who are appointed to die. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and the needy. That scripture in itself says we cannot overlook injustice. We cannot turn our heads as believers and say, well, that's their problem. It is our job, it is our duty for church people to get up and get involved and be the change that we want to see. The scripture says it.